Welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is going to be our recap for Spies, Lies, and Allies episode 6. If you want to call it a full episode, we're going to recap it. But my name is Zach, and I'm joined by my wife Hannah.
Hey, hey, hey.
And my best friend Jake, who I don't know what happened.
Can't contain himself. I tried to drag out my haze, but he's just like...
She tried to drag out her hay.
She loves to drag in the hay.
Hey, look, you may not want me to address it, but Han's in bully mode tonight, and it's just funny for some reason.
Bully mode. It sounded like you said boy mode.
No, bully.
Yeah.
She's being a
Boy
real
mode.
bully. She cut you downstairs just a second ago.
Yeah.
And then we got up here, and she started talking about all these inanimate objects around her getting on her nerves.
Which is things that haven't moved
No.
in weeks.
And then she's like, let's go. Move it. Let's go. Let's do it. I have nothing to talk about.
I don't have anything to talk about for this episode.
But before I go any further, how's everybody doing tonight?
Also...
We're in a tennis tournament.
That's not what I wanted.
No,
I mean,
we
that is-
literally talked about this 10 seconds ago.
That is true. I was going to say, also, we give shout-outs to our new patrons, and we just talked about this.
We have
Yeah,
a new
yeah.
patron.
Yeah. So, Tori.
Yeah. You want to get a clean take?
Yeah, I want to get a clean take. This is your chance at a ringtone here if you want to chop this up. So I'm going to give a...
You wanted to remix it, chopped and screwed?
Yeah. Here we go.
Yes.
I'm going to clap, give you a clean cut. Hey, Tori. How you doing tonight?
I think she might be Australian, or it could be he. I don't know exactly.
Good day, mate.
Can you do an Australian?
Whoa,
can you-
that's not what I said. Because I was like, hey, you should give her a good day, mate.
Can you
G'day,
do,
mate.
Can you do an Australian greeting?
Yeah, let me try it.
If it helps, Dan Harmon always said, because creator of Community and Rick and Morty, they did some tours in Australia for his podcast, and he said the way he could always get into the accent is you say, "I like that hat, mate," and you go, "I like that hat, mate," and then it'll
You
get
say
you
it
in
over and over and over again, and then you're in it.
Well, I don't... That's going to take too much time. Let me just...
there. We have no time.
Yeah, let me just... let me give it another clean cut here. You taught me the clapping trick.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to clap, but I'm going to give you the Aussie version, okay? Here we go. Hey, Tori. How are you doing tonight?
There it is. I think that's the
Oh,
first
I
version
don't
like that
think-
we've ever had.
I don't think that's Australian, though.
You
Well,
know,
man, I've never been known for my impressions, but I am known for my speed.
great.
Okay.
So yeah,
Fast, boy.
Yeah, like Jake said, we are in a tennis tournament. If you want to watch Jake and I come play tennis.
Maybe.
Yeah, drop in the comments. Let us know you're going to be there.
Yeah, all the comments that Jake thinks happen during these. But anyway,
I'd love to know if there's like a live chat room going, like a live listening party that people do when we drop our pods. Well,
I
actually, a comment
very
section.
highly doubt that.
well, I mean, like kind of to an extent, but it's like our Slack group, like. They talk about like as they're listening back, but it's not like they listen to it all
They
at the same
listen
time.
sporadic. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
listen at the same time.
So you want like people to like listen it to
You-
as like a premiere.
yeah, you want people to have a listening party
That's what I said.
Okay.
where they like call off work,
Why is your
schedule a time.
why is your chapstick shaped
because
like
he
that?
puts it on with his mouth closed and he shoves it in between his
No,
lips.
this formed like
he
that.
does.
So it's
He
like a
does. I
crayon.
watch
Yeah,
him do it.
it's shaped like the tip of a
I
crayon.
watch him do it. Put your chapstick on. That's
But
how
I
he
have
does
to do it because it's shaped like that now. I've
It's
Because
a real
that's how you-
chicken and the egg situation. Which came first? This is real weird.
Jake's coffee is like 3 times darker than it normally is, and I'm wondering if
It's a different flavor, girl.
Okay, you got something different. That's what it is.
Your mic.
That's what it is. He got
It's a
something
cafe
different.
mocha.
Yeah, you didn't get your cinnamon dolce latte.
That's because they're
with
out of cinnamon all the time now.
with extra fancy whip.
Everybody's got a shortage of something, so they got a shortage of cinnamon.
Yeah, thanks COVID.
Well, yeah, if
Cafe
you
mocha's really good though.
if you want to be a part of our Patreon, it's patreon.com/smashingheads podcast. I didn't even post about this on social media just to see who all is subscribed to us and who's not. But we dropped our final Rivals 2 recap yesterday. We recorded it last week, but we wanted to space it out some more. But we just watched the last 3 episodes of Rivals 2 to kind of knock it out. But in our Slack group, they were saying, like, even if you don't talk about it, like, you guys need to watch the reunion. They said it's unlike any other reunion, and like people are like real riled up, and half of them are drunk, and they're like, it's definitely worth watching. I had 3 different people say, yeah, you need to watch the reunion, even if you don't talk about it, just for Hannah's sake, especially.
Well, I tell you what. Why don't we do this?
Don't tell me what to
We'll
do.
do that this weekend.
Hold on. We need to do another Redemption House anyway.
Yeah.
So why don't we make that a Redemption House exclusive?
Okay.
We talk about the reunion.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, for Rivals too. So that did drop if you haven't checked that out. And also, if you're listening to this and you somehow didn't know that dropped, that's really weird because it's in the same feed. And so you should subscribe to us anywhere you listen to your podcast. It's just the thing that you should do.
It's the thing.
It's the thing. Yeah.
The thing.
Is the thing to do?
Put that thing on it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we
Why did that make me think of corn dogs?
I don't know. I don't know what that even means. Yeah, this episode's a weird one.
Short.
By 33%, yes.
Yeah, nobody gave us a heads up. You thought that
I thought the DVR messed up.
yeah. And like
or like there was a storm or something that blocked the signal, so it stopped
that
recording.
gypped us half an hour.
When stuff like that happens, you actually go into full blown panic mode.
I didn't go
Yeah,
into
he,
panic.
like, freaks out.
First of all, I did not go into any panic mode. I said I'm gonna find out if this is a mess up or if this is the actual length, and all I did was get in our Slack group and said, "Hey guys, but without any spoilers, is this episode only an hour long?" And Hannah's like, "We can just watch it. We'll just watch it."
Well, here's the thing. Jake got me on this.
yeah.
We were trying to. I thought you said you were going to look it up, and I was like, oh, well, I was worried that if you tried to Google it, you would see spoilers online, and I was trying to save you from that by saying, why don't we just watch what we have, which is a full hour, and then if we get to the end of it and there's clearly 30 minutes missing, we'll find the rest of the 30 minutes somewhere else, like on Fubo. What's it called?
Fubu.
For us, by us.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's Damon James's television company.
But if we get to the end of the hour and there's a credit scene and we know that's the end of the episode, there's no time wasted.
No, there would be time wasted because then we have to spend time to find a way to get it and then fast forward and figure out where we're at and all that. I just wanted to be able to sit down on one thing and just watch it all the way through. And it took 3 seconds. All I did was say, "Hey, group, is this happening?" And immediately, shout out to Grim, immediately he's like, "No, it's just an hour long."
You did not tell us you were looking in the Slack group. You just said, hold on, I'm going to look it up. And I was trying to talk and you're like, no.
All right. What I was. So you did those things.
Yeah.
Like, but there was a precursor to it. There was a. Wait, is this only an hour long?
He gave
Yeah.
me
You
a-
went to
he
full
gave
blown
me a
panic.
little, he gave me a
He-
little bit of a like a
Southern California.
yeah, like a Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. You went.
You
to
did
full-blown-
freak out.
I did. I went, "Whoa."
There was like, oh, wait a minute. This is only an hour.
It is
Yeah.
it is weird because I think the only other time we've had since they've gone to this hour and a half format that they've done an hour long only episode, I think it was right after all the D stuff where they were like, "We're gonna cut her out." And to me, after watching this episode, I feel like what happened is there's an altercation that obviously was the cliffhanger, and I think someone's going to be sent home before the next elimination, and possibly Fessy and possibly Esther. We don't know, and maybe Josh. We don't know what all plays out in the full, amount of the altercation. And I think that they're like, oh well, we can't just have that happen in the middle of an episode. We got to set this up as a cliffhanger. We can stretch this into a whole nother episode.
Do you think that maybe next week will be an hour two with, the end of the altercation? We figure out who goes home. Then you have the deliberation and then the elimination.
That would make sense
Because then you're back on track.
unless you had enough stuff that you felt like was relevant to say, oh well, we're going to go back to an hour and a half, and it's just going to be a lot of stuff happening on the front end. But we've already done the daily.
That's the thing.
Yep.
So then
Yeah.
you'd be talking about, that's a lot to even pack into an hour and a half.
Well, we
figuring
got-
out who goes home, the deliberation, elimination, another, and the house session daily, and then you do it all over again. So
Yeah.
that's why I think
That's a lot.
I would
That's
be
a lot.
I would be fine if they just do another hour next week just to
Finish it.
wrap it up, and then the next episode's 2 weeks from now. They start over with the format we're used to that everyone likes. It's universally liked.
The hour and a half, we love it.
No. I'm not I'm not saying the hour and a half. I'm saying it's universally liked where they go talking daily, more talking, deliberation, night out, elimination, and
End of
then
story.
you end the episode after the elimination. Like, everyone likes it. It has build up, daily, deliberation, elimination, all in one episode. It's because what was Final Reckoning, where it wasn't until like episode 4 that someone went into an elimination, went home, something like that.
I think you're exaggerating a little bit.
It was it was 3 or 4.
Maybe 3.
Yeah,
It was multiple episodes before we got one elimination.
It wouldn't surprise me if we were like 5 episodes in and only had 2 eliminations on that season, and that was the one where they started stretching this out to an hour and a half or so. And so I don't know. I feel like they're like, oh, Fessy's going home, which I don't know. That's just conjecture on my part. And they're like, we've got to stretch this out because we've already built up this whole Big Brother storyline throughout the season. Because I mean, I will get into it in a minute, but like when the whole like Nany and Casey date thing happened, I was like, what is going on? I was like, why are we watching this? This feels like such filler right now. And that's exactly what it was. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know it at the time.
I gotta give her credit for her game though. That's pretty good. That's good. I'm a big believer in effort and relationships, and I'm not a fan of Casey, but I gotta give her props for going all out there.
Where do you think she got the flowers from?
From production, it was like, hey, let us make this big.
She went up to him. What y'all think? Y'all got a flower?
A flower.
Yeah, that's how she said it.
Put that thing.
I mean, it just felt scripted to the point to where it was like, oh, we're gonna set this up as a like production group, and then make them do this thing, and then that gives us content if we need it or whatever. I don't know. It just this episode starts, and I wrote Huey and Big T talk. I don't remember what they talked about. This episode didn't have a lot going on. I think they were just.
You don't say.
I really
wonder
just.
why you didn't remember, Zach.
I think he was just like, oh, we're going to go in because we're rookies. And then we didn't even see it happen in this episode.
Well, Big T's not even a rookie.
Yeah, no.
He was saying
Huey's venting to her.
He was basically just saying that he's hopeless.
I do think Huey's timing on a lot of this stuff is really funny. Like,
it's bizarre.
Later in the episode, after the daily, they come into the kitchen.
How do you think we did as partners? And it's very like over dramatized.
It's like yelling it to the house, and everyone's like, we've been on a bus together for the last like 40 minutes.
Do you think he just doesn't realize it, or do you think he does it on purpose?
I think that was
this is going to be funny.
I think that was for the camera.
I don't think so.
I mean, in my heart, I hope it's not.
Yeah.
But
you don't want it to be.
No, I want him to be this like.
Well, I think he would do that in real life, where like there are no cameras. Like maybe he traveled down to Tennessee, and we took him down to my favorite restaurant, Coyote Blues, to eat some tacos, and then we get back to y'all's place, and he's like, "What do y'all think about dinner tonight?"
I guess.
And it's very,
but
like,
that's kind of normal. Like on this, he knew that they lost and they were awful, and so he was just like yelling it, and everyone already knew the answer.
So that would be like if we all got tacos and his were not cooked and he got food poisoning, and then 2 hours later came to the house and said, "How do you think dinner went?"
Yeah, ideo. We get a thing early on which I think is setting up to the next episode, and I don't have any way to prove it because we haven't seen it, but they really are playing up this CT and Emmy angle.
CT loves Emmy, and Emmy loves CT back. She said that he is her favorite uncle in the whole world.
He also said that she's, quote, she's young in the head, which I'd never...
What does that mean?
I get it. I get what he meant. I've never heard that phrase, but it's just like... You haven't quite matured mentally to where you need to be. And she does give off very, like...
Childish.
She gives me, like, Rugrat vibes.
Yes.
Yes. Like, she's a little chaotic. And...
it's like she's a kid at heart, and her heart is really, really big.
It's
I like Emmy a lot.
It's like Emmy was, like, in the Romanian version of the movie Big with, like, Tom Hanks, and, like... Overnight, she just grew into an adult and doesn't really know how to handle it, because like even like when they do the makeover later, she's very uncomfortable looking in like that dress. And
it's Ashley's dress.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I like Emmy. I know some people don't, but I like Emmy.
I like Emmy.
We then get like Josh like laying out to Esther like how he feels about Fessy, and it's playing up the whole thing, which actually did kind of pay off because it shows at the end, what happened, and they had to set up Josh and Esther, and then make out Josh and Esther, and then Josh and Esther again making out, and then the blow up. So I get this from a production side. I mean, at up to this point though, did we have any indication that Esther and Josh talk to each other?
Out of left field. I had no idea.
They did that, and then they cut to Amanda and Fessy, and Amanda's telling Fessy he needs to apologize, and he's like, "I'm always apologizing," and she's like, "Well, maybe you always cause problems."
I mean,
Yeah, and she-
shout out to her.
Yeah,
Exactly. She's like totally laying it into him, and he was like, I feel like I have to apologize and apologize and apologize over and over again. And finally she interrupted him, and she was like, maybe you're wrong.
Yeah, and
Maybe you're in the wrong.
and she's like, "Also, maybe you don't like understand like Josh's feelings," and which again, like, Josh is a complicated creature.
He is. He's very complex. But I kind of like Amanda, but I really like her in this scene because she is seemingly the only person that can actually get through to Fessy and help him maybe open up his mind.
How do you feel about them as a couple outside of the show?
Indifferent. I don't have an opinion on it.
I think they're really cute together. I'm not really a Fessy fan now,
It's fine.
but
Wish them well.
they do look good together.
You know.
Well,
I mean, maybe he wants to be a daddy.
I mean, yeah, she's got a kid.
She does have.
I
a
mean,
kid.
that's part of it now. Like, you know, he's in Florida and she's in Colorado. Those are very different climates.
Forgot
gotta
she
think
was in
about that.
Colorado.
You get sick over that kind of stuff.
You will. You get
You can.
sick just thinking about it.
Yeah, sick to the stomach.
Then we get the weird Casey and Nani date sequence, which again, looking back, it's like, they needed to kind of because we've never had like plotted out date nights before that I can remember.
Well, I thought for a moment they were going to let Casey and Nani leave the house, but no, it was to that whatever thing in the middle of the water.
The dolphin.
Yeah, the dolphin in the middle of the water.
I thought, or somebody said, I don't remember. It came up. It was like, is this like Nani's birthday or a special thing? And it's like, no,
I
it's
asked
their
that.
first date.
I asked that. I was like, is it Nani's birthday? Because they weren't saying anything, and then finally,
Casey's not saying anything.
Wow.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But it wasn't until like towards the very end of it that Casey had finally like joked that it was their first date.
Well, I know you're a production extraordinaire, Zach, but
Sure.
I don't think this was production oriented. I think Casey may
you
have sought out help from
Yeah, she
production
had
to
to
set
have.
it up.
Either that, or she smuggled in flowers and champagne and roses and all
Yeah,
that.
there's no way.
I think she initiated this though.
Which I mean,
I'm gonna give her credit.
that's a lot of effort right there, and it turned out really nice.
I just think it's funny because at one point they are showing like them walking up to the like little setup area, and there's like we had already seen the establishing shot where it shows it from the front side, and it's like a couch and table and whatever, and there's not much behind that couch, and then it cuts to their like reverse angle, and it's them walking up and being surprised, and I was like, there's a camera guy crouched right behind that couch, and it's like that's just really awkward.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
and
like that.
to which I
Yeah, I
pointed
did.
out, he has to be like holding on to the back of the couch because he can't go any further back because then he'd just be in the water.
Do you think they're wearing like headsets where like part of the production team can talk to him, like if they're saying like get different angles, right? Do you think while he's holding on to the back of that couch or whatever, he's like, ride that thing, boy, ride that thing, hold on now.
The director.
Yeah, do you think he's doing?
Ride the couch.
You ride it.
I don't think that.
Okay.
But it is.
Well, I mean, you do cameras. Like,
Yeah.
You can talk to them, right? Like,
You can talk to the camera.
Can
you
talk
keep,
to your
you
camera
keep, you
people?
keep,
You can talk to the
you keep
camera.
motioning like a like how like people mime a
Like-
telephone from like the 80s.
Well, he's doing it more like this, like hang 10.
Which Emmy does later in the episode, by the way,
No,
twice.
but do you not? Can you not
Yeah.
talk to?
Can you
your camera
not
people?
call cameras and talk to cameras?
Yeah,
on the
you
phone?
can. It's a comm system.
Can
but
you?
but that's not that they wouldn't do that for a shoot like this.
How do you communicate to your camera people if you need them to do?
I just
like,
told
Through a comm
it's a
system.
comm system.
No, I get that, but if you need
Do you?
if you need them to pan or something, you just say.
They don't. Okay, I think what you're not understanding is that like what you're referencing with me is a live production. This is a multicam. Like it's all edited later, so they don't have a guy. It's not the Truman Show where they have a guy up
I
in.
know, but regardless, do you at any point like into the communication system? Are you like pan that thing?
Not in that verbiage.
See, I wish you'd let me get back there sometime. God, if they hung on something too long, I'd be like, "Come on now, pan that thing over to the left.
What does pan mean?
Pan, turn it."
Okay.
What does pan mean? Pan.
Yeah. Pan means pan.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a lot of production talk. We do get like security footage. Well, first of all, we got like establishing shots of like low to the ground, like someone was like hunched over with the camera walking through the house, and then security camera footage of Josh and Esther making out in a room.
Also, we got a Nelson level confessional from Josh.
Nelson's confessions are not good.
Yeah, you did say that earlier tonight. We got it from Josh tonight, though. He said he just can't help it. He gets very gravitated to Esther, to which I said 10 points to Josh. That's a good one. We've been missing that.
She can't give out
No,
points.
you cannot.
That's his
That's
thing.
not
I
your-
know. It's 10 Hannah points that aren't going anywhere.
Oh, we can't have a whole separate economy going on. This isn't microtransactions.
No.
Well, props to Josh for giving us funny words, mispronounced words, because Nelson has not been delivering.
We might as well
this
say
season.
it now. I think I mentioned it after like 2 episodes. Nelson's confessionals are so almost scripted feeling. Because the thing about Nelson was what made him fun was it was just like off the cuff, and he would say incredulous things that are just some of the best like turn of phrases that are not the right thing at all.
Or he would get the phrase wrong or backwards.
Yeah, it's just like it was his spontaneity is what made it funny. And this, it feels like he's like really playing into that and trying to make those things. And when you do that, it's like when like with like companies, a lot of times when they hire like ad agencies, like, oh, we want you to make us a viral video. And they're like, well, that's not how viral videos work. Like you can't just have a plan to make one. Like it just has to happen.
When
and
you
that's what
try
happens with
too
Nelson.
hard, it doesn't work. It
Yeah.
fails every
It's-
time.
I've been displeased with Nelson this season because he's one of my favorite confessional guys.
See, I'm on the opposite end. I've appreciated the extra goofiness.
I haven't. I just
It's almost cringy.
yeah,
It's almost TikTok cringy.
which we
Jake.
appreciate.
We do appreciate cringe, but it's not what we're wanting from him.
How'd you guys think Josh did hooking up?
You want him to unintentionally be an idiot.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what makes it funny.
I like Esther.
I don't think it was a hookup. I think it was just a
Yeah,
makeout.
I know. I was just kidding. I
don't
didn't.
think
I
you
didn't want
can-
you to rate
You
Josh hooking
can't.
up.
Well-
You can't give it hookup points.
It's called a love connection, guys.
Yes.
That was a TV show.
Yeah.
Eliminate. That's a different TV
That's
show.
a great TV show.
So I do like that they cut to Esther's confessional, and she's kind of like, "Oh, God, I can't have any feelings for this." And the producer off camera was like, "What do you like about Josh?" And she's like, "I really don't know." And
That's been a common theme for Josh on his show. Like
nobody knows.
Yeah.
Nobody knows why they would be into him.
But here's the
It's the
thing.
watchability.
Here's the thing.
That's it.
I'm really rooting for Josh because this time he's been on this show 3 times now.
Oh, more than that. I
More
think
than that.
4
This
or
may be
5.
his 5th season.
Yeah.
Okay, a lot longer than I thought. Anytime he's found a girl in the house that he is attracted to and wants to have a love connection with, he gets kind of shot down where the girls either say that they're not interested
Fifth season.
or they just see him as the brother or the best friend type, and it's kind of like a shot to him. We saw it with Amanda his first season.
Was that his war? Amanda wasn't on War of the Worlds. Was she?
on one of them?
She was on one of them. It was
Maybe
his
she
first.
was.
It was his first.
His
season
first one was War of the
because they
Worlds.
were partners, and he started catching feelings, and she's like, "I don't feel that way." We see it was it last season with Nani. He was really really close with Nani, and we wondered if he had feelings for her. But she said that she just saw him as a brother or as a best friend, whatever. So this time we're seeing him have some kind of feelings towards a girl, Esther, and she's actually reciprocating some of those feelings. So I'm, after the other failed attempts in previous seasons, I'm rooting for Josh. I'm happy to see him find someone in this house.
Yeah, so it was Amanda on War of the Worlds. I'd forgotten that she was on War of the Worlds because I believe that might have been her last season. But yeah, that was her last season before this one, and it was 5 seasons ago. And Josh only made the cut because Alon broke his arm.
That's
And
right.
So
Oh my gosh! If Alon had not broken his arm, where
Josh
would
wouldn't
we,
have even been on this
where
show.
would we be right now?
I mean, Alon had no staying power on the show anyway. He was kind of boring. But I mean, it's just this is Josh's 5th season. I mean, he's had some staying power. I mean, again, it goes back to Jake's metric of watchability. You can love him or hate him, but people talk about him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's up there. He's as high as anyone. You don't think?
I do.
Everybody is all the same height.
That's not what as high as anyone means.
That's like, you know what blank as anyone means. Han, you've been around on this world.
Yeah, I've been around on this world.
I have.
So the daily is called Turning Agents, and it's just 2 different drift cars that they strap teams on 2 at a time, and there's a lockbox, and they're facing opposite directions. And,
Yeah, can we just jump to the winner here?
I mean, there's
nothing to talk about.
there's like a deciphering thing with like tanker trucks, and I mean, there's a couple things to talk about, guys.
Is there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is there to talk about?
Let's
First
see.
of all, CT and Berna aren't talking.
Great.
Yeah. Second, Hannah would be allergic to Ashley and Josh as a team because she said they're peanut butter and jelly.
Oh, that would kill you.
It would.
So that
It almost has before.
We needed to talk about
We
that.
did not need to talk about that.
Also, Huey is dead.
Great.
He was dead. Rest
Glad-
in peace.
yeah.
You're
Okay.
glad he's dead?
No, I was gonna say glad to see he's alive and well now.
He is.
But
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah.
Then that's when I wrote about Nelson's confessionals, and then I just wrote the winners are Casey and Emmanuel. I had 4 lines for the
Oh,
whole
you
daily.
forgot. Sometimes Ed gets dizzy.
Oh,
for
I thought we
fun.
didn't have anything to talk about.
I just remembered that. Ed gets dizzy for fun because he said that, and I said, "Oh, I bet Jake is making fantasy points for that."
Can I ask you a precursor to the fantasy points?
Sure.
Did you give Ed fantasy points for when the cars came out that he started whirling circles with his fingers? He was like showing like what the cars do. He was
Or
like,
what they're about to do.
yeah.
There are fantasy
There we
points
go.
involved there, Zach.
I just
There you
we
go.
didn't talk about it, but I wanted to know.
You wanted Ed to get some kind of pointage.
Well, I don't
for
want
that.
I don't want Ed to get points.
That's
He's
my
on Jake's
team.
team. Yeah.
Which again,
He wants
after
recognition for that.
This week, I still have yet to have anybody go home.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have-
I
none
might
of us
have-
had anybody go
I might
home.
have Fessy go home next week.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
that's a rough crew to be left with too.
Yeah, Nelson,
Yeah.
Ashley, and Nani. Oh, I guess
Casey.
yeah, Casey's. She might be the dark horse in all this, though.
Yeah.
She might win the whole thing. Yeah, Casey and Emmanuel, they win, and they're gonna help Emmy and Huey because they know Emmy and Huey want to go in, and Emmanuel and Emmy are close because they're from Romania.
Emmy said Emmanuel is her heart and her soul, but she kind of sang it when she said it.
Oh, I don't even remember her saying that.
Yeah.
She did that.
Jeremiah thinks he's going down. Big T asks him. I forgot their partners honestly because they just
I forgot they were partners. I thought they were just talking.
no. She said at one point like, "Oh, if you win, it's okay. You can pick someone else. It's not going to hurt my feelings."
Wonder why y'all forgot.
Because it's not like
I don't know.
Other than you
I
wanting to name the
forgot.
episode after him a couple weeks ago, like he's not giving us anything.
I forgot he was on the show until they showed him just then, and I was like, "Who was that?"
Wonder why y'all forgot they were teammates.
I don't know. I'm
Now,
not.
if I'm being fair here, he's as forgettable as Big T.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But he was basically saying like he's totally fine with going into elimination. To which
because
that
he said he's
just-
the only rookie other than Emmanuel
Yeah.
who's safe.
But also that just further proves the point that was made last week by all the vets. These rookies are
They've just accepted the way of life.
yeah.
Like,
and
they're like-
they're not even putting up a fight.
They're like all rookies have to go in, which is how it used to be back in the day.
Yeah, but even then you'd put up a fight.
Not really. Not until like honestly when I mean there were some obviously outlier rookies, but for the most part it was like, oh, the rookies go in. That's an easy target. It's always what it is. Except the Young Bucks crew that all came from like X on the Beach or whatever. Are You the One?
Corey and Nelson.
Yeah, and Hunter and them.
And
they
Hunter.
they kind of started that trend of we're gonna go after, and it lasted for a while.
Jake, what did you think about Tori saying that she thinks Casey is one of the most unpredictable players ever? Ever.
To be fair, we forgot she made the last 2 finals.
yeah.
So,
Not unrememberable. Unpredictable.
I mean, based off the way her brain works and her logic, sure. I don't know.
I think she's the most predictable player because
But-
she's going to do whatever Fessy wants.
Well, which again is why I say something about her brain. Where is it at? Oh man, she had a quote here. Hold on, this is top notch. Let me see. What did she say, dude? I wrote this.
Who are you trying to? Casey or
I
Tori?
wrote this, Casey. I wrote this thing down.
Well, it's going to take him a minute.
I don't have.
Oh yeah. At one point, she made an argument about not rocking the boat
Yeah.
after winning the daily.
Yeah.
To which, and then said, "Who's gonna take that first shot?" It's like it's
First shot's already
It's
been
like
taken.
you,
Hey,
man.
it's like Tori. Tori says she's the most unpredictable person. She doesn't know.
She's,
What,
she's one of the most delusional.
Fessy literally took the first shot when he voted in Amber.
But
The
you-
first shot's already been taken.
You and her may have more similarities than what you realize, Han, because y'all
Don't you dare.
y'all both have separate realities. In her world, Fessy didn't do anything.
Josh did everything.
Josh did everything.
It's his fault that he likes Amber
In your world, Zach ate all the cookies.
and a hot dog,
and a
which
hot
didn't
dog.
happen.
I didn't touch that dadgum hot dog.
When in reality, you ate what? 4 cookies?
Oh yeah, I mean that's been an ongoing thing. Like it's
I specifically bought oatmeal cookies this last time I went to Kroger because I know he doesn't like them. And I love them. So
And-
they're only for me.
But the last time this happened, and she blamed me for something, it's because she misplaced them,
no,
and I hadn't eaten any of them.
You hid them from
I did
me.
see. That's the thing. I
You
didn't move them.
hid them
Didn't even-
because you thought it
about
would be
that, though.
funny.
Yeah, I know.
You
Think about
thought
it.
it would be funny to mess with me and mess
Are
with
they
my
still
mind
hidden?
and make
don't know
me
where they went to begin
feel like I'm losing my mind. You thought it
Where do
would
you-
be funny.
So-
you do it maliciously, and you're like, I swear, when you do it, you probably giggle to yourself like, hee hee hee, Hannah's gonna really lose her mind now. I'm gonna make her think that she already ate them, even though she didn't, and I just hid them in
But
the
here's
back
the
of
thing:
the
I
pantry.
don't bring any of this stuff up. I don't say, "Hey, you feeling like some cookies?" like she comes up to me and she's like, "Why did you eat the?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?"
So, by your logic, Han, these cookies are in this house somewhere.
No, I found
She
them.
found
I
them?
found them. That's
Wait,
how I
hold on,
know.
where were they at?
They were
Where'd she put
hidden.
'em?
They were hidden in the back of the pantry. That's how I knew that they were hidden because I found them days later.
I didn't put them in the pantry. I haven't touched them. I hadn't eaten any of them.
I will say, I've known Zach for a long time. Then this is true. I'm not taking a shot at you, but Zach's pantry is wherever he is sitting at the moment.
Yes.
Fair?
Well,
Yeah. No, it is.
First of all, you don't get to answer that. But what I was going to say is if I had like a Cheez-Its thing, I'll just bring the box of cheese. I don't like pour them in a bowl. Like, because they do that in like commercials. They're like, we'll pour these into the thing. Like, no, I just bring it with me.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
don't-
but that's still.
But I did not go in and move an individual box of cookies anywhere. I never have. I never would.
And then
I
layer
might start
other-
now just because you're blaming me for it.
And then layer other items
Yeah,
of food
yeah.
to where.
That's what happened. My little box of pandas were shoved in the back, and then other stuff put in front of them.
I did it. That's
He
it.
did. He did.
Jake actually, we called each other and thought, what's the best way we could do this? And then actually, he distracted you, and then I did it. And-
Like all these conversations I have with you about my life, that's just so he can do his work right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're both evil
Yeah.
in different ways.
Yeah, I was talking to her the other day about, it was actually yesterday about, I know someone he's 16 and he's not allowed to have like video games that are online. And I was like, I kind of get it. I was like, but also like, it's whatever. And I was like, we grew up, man, we were in like the Wild West of, online lobby and stuff. And I was like, we turned out fine. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
To which I said, you did not. You did not turn out fine.
Us, well, me especially, you not so much, but living in the South with an accent.
I told her they would just always gang up on you.
and the go-to was, I sleep with my sisters. I don't even have a sister. Like they always got the
But
incest
you
thing
would
going.
have.
Yeah.
And he brought that up last night, and I came to your defense, and I said that poor boy has been tormented his whole life for everything under the sun.
Me?
Yes.
Have I?
Yes. That time that kid in the pool asked you why you weren't wearing a shirt because you were a girl.
Yeah, a bra. They asked me
Yeah.
how I wasn't wearing a bra. That's when I was a chunky boy.
And then you had a perm.
I had a perm.
These are self-inflicted, though.
And then
I did
you
it to
wore
myself.
women's skinny jeans for a long time.
I did. I wore girl jeans. The American Eagle ones. You know, they got that specific design on the butt. On
Yeah.
the back pockets.
Bedazzles.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're super skin tight.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Anyway,
Or a 12.
if you
Okay.
if you made it out of those Halo 3 and Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare lobbies, you turned out fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're the one that was antagonizing everyone, then you may not have. But we're fine. Like we're good.
I mean,
You gotta grow up sometime.
I don't know if I fully agree with.
Well,
being fine.
we get a like makeover session with Emmy, which we alluded to earlier, because she just wants to wear a tracksuit, and all the other girls in the room get real mad at her about it.
Well, she actually came to Ashley and Amanda and Nani asking to dress up for the night because she knows that she and Huey are most likely going into elimination.
Well,
And,
they want to go in.
yeah. And she wanted to sing for everybody in the house. So it was like it was a special night, and it could have been her last night out with everybody.
It still might be. We don't know
so,
yet.
So she wanted to make it special. So she asked the girls for a makeover, and Ashley made her wear her slinky little red dress.
Who she's like, this is a T-shirt.
Yeah, Emmy did say it was a T-shirt.
And later on, every time she bends over, they just had to keep blurring stuff.
Well, a couple of things. One, she can actually sing.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got a good little
Two.
voice.
She cleans up kind of well.
She's really cute.
Like,
She looks different on. I mean, also obviously Instagram's not reality thing, but she does look different on there than what she does on the show.
Well, those pictures were from her music videos and like
I know,
promos.
but I've seen pictures of her like not from TV related stuff, and she looks not as Juggalo esque as what she does on the
Well,
show.
It could just be that's what the makeup that she's most comfortable wearing, and then she puts on more and
The
fixes
blue
her,
hair and braces
fixes her hair
yeah.
more when she's like doing something special.
Yeah, her and Emmanuel are on I think I've said this before, they're on like a high diving celebrity show in Romania right now called like Splash or something like that. And
Well, Emmanuel said that Emmy was actually like a really famous singer in Romania.
yeah, I'm not sure about that. I know that this is a whole nother can of worms, but I know that she was on like Romania's Got Talent, and people found a video of her on Romania's Got Talent, and she is doing a song that is not a Romanian song that has the N-word in it, and she's singing it, and I know a lot of people are upset about that. I don't know if that's a cultural thing. Like maybe she doesn't understand really what that word and it's whatever.
Yeah, she might not know
Yeah, and so
because English is probably not her first language.
well, it's definitely not. She's in Romania.
Yeah.
And so I know that she was on Romania's Got Talent because I've seen that video. And I mean, she's been better than freaking Mustard, whatever his name was.
right. Or
What
Big-
was his
Big T.
name?
What was his name? Alan?
Joseph.
Joseph? Yeah. Yeah, it's
You're
just
thinking of Alan Aguirre.
no. I remember Alan Aguirre. Shout out to Alan Aguirre.
Well, regardless, everybody loves Emmy.
Well, she sings the Alien song, and then they play it over because she didn't. It's got to be nerve wracking to just in a place where everyone's just like
standing there.
yeah, and there's no music
It's
and there's
unplugged.
nothing.
Yeah, I don't. People. So I sing a little bit. People ask me to sing, and I don't. I can't. I don't do it.
Will this be
I've
your
been singing
go-to
for
song?
like 20 years. Yeah. I'm an alien. Yeah. It's a catchy little melody.
Yeah, it was a cute little song. Even Fessy liked it and started singing it in his confessional. Everybody seemed to really support her. CT.
CT said he loves her. At
He
this
said
point.
he loves her. She's really growing on him. And then Berna even said that she feels like the big sister to Emmy.
That makes sense because Emmy's still young in the head.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's again like she is a singer, but she was known from Survivor Romania, and so it wasn't like she came in because she was on Romania's Got Talent or whatever. So then we get a Josh and Esther like love connection in the club in front of everybody, because before it was like
public.
a secretive thing. And then, like, a lot of people are, like, looking like, oh, man, look at this. And Big T's tapping Logan, and CT's sitting right beside him watching it happen. And then they go back.
Well, you skipped Berna and Esther
I didn't care.
in the corner. What's the deal with their hate for Amber B? They kept saying how fake she
They ain't
was and
got
how
no-
annoying she was.
Yeah,
And they said that nobody in the house likes her.
I think they don't like her.
Yeah, they definitely don't like her.
Yeah, but I haven't gotten that impression from anybody else other than Fessy.
That was the thing last season. People kept talking about she was fake. I mean, I like Amber B, but I mean, this is a completely new group of people saying the same thing
who don't know her.
from last season.
Yeah.
And look, we're not in the house, so we don't have the
Exactly.
full context. But from the context of the show, one, we've established, I think, all three of us, that she has every reason to be annoyed, upset, and, you know, over the whole Fessy thing, right?
I do, but also, like, after a while, like,
You got to move. I'll
Yeah.
give it that.
Yeah.
I'll give it that.
It's tiring.
But, you know, I just think, like, you know, between Berna and Esther, like, you don't have any context. So all you've got is, like, Fessy threw her in, but you don't understand the context of what's happened over the last 2 seasons.
yeah.
So y'all are just mad without context,
Mm-hmm.
which to me is just like, all right, y'all can chill out too. Just, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like,
I get it. I get that.
I
Like
mean-
I'm mostly on Amber B's side, but also again, she could be talking about this blind side from Fessy all day long, every single day, and it's been 2 eliminations, and she's still talking about it. So
But-
I could see if I were in the house having to listen to it 24/7, it would get on my last
but in
nerve.
fairness, is Fessy still not having conversations
Yeah, that's
about
the
it?
No,
thing.
he
Is
is.
Josh still not having conversations
Yeah.
about it? Is Casey still like, they're all talking about it.
They are.
Yeah.
So don't hammer down on Amber
No,
about
Big
it.
Brother
Exactly.
as a group is
They're
very
all
petty.
Yeah.
They're all talking
And
about
it was so dumb that Fessy was like, this whole Big Brother alliance, it's just one big mess. And I'm like, yeah, because you threw a wrench into it.
Every person we've ever had on this show from Big Brother is overly dramatic to a crazy extent. And I unless you guys can name one that's not been.
I mean, I think Casey's pretty underdramatic.
But that's true, but she just goes along with it and pretends other things don't happen.
Who are the other people we've had from Big Brother?
Polly.
Paulie.
Oh, gosh.
Natalie.
Davon.
Who?
Davon.
And Jose.
Davon and Jose. I mean, you could say every one of those people are dramatic. And not in the same way, but like it's probably Casey's the most non-dramatic person, but she just completely ignores certain sides of things. But anyway, they get back from the house and they like very clearly showed a clip that Amber wasn't in. It was just like kitchen stuff, but they did subtitles and it says Amber, quote, "I got the oven next." And it was real quick, and I was like, that's weird. So I rewound it, and I was like, they're setting something up. And apparently she wanted to make a pizza, and
She put a pizza in the oven and somebody took it out and ate it.
also, she's not wanting to eat meat, and this was apparently a cheese pizza. So I get that. If you're a vegan or whatever,
Vegetarian.
well, yeah, sure. And
There's a difference.
I know there's a difference, but like if you are eating a certain diet and you're trying to stick to that, and there's a way that you could do it, and then someone eats it, it would be annoying. And everyone's drunk and has
And
been
you're
out partying.
hungry.
Yeah,
It's been a long time. Here's the thing. I can identify with this. When I'm hungry and somebody starts messing with me and my food, I'm going to get really angry really quick and I'll lose it. I will. So I understand why she's so frustrated. And then it cuts to Berna in a confessional and she's like, this is so annoying. Amber B is so annoying. There's like 10,000 other pizzas in the freezer for you to choose from. And then it cuts back to Amber B yelling at the house, I don't want meat. I don't want to eat meat. So, I mean, who was it that we had last season that was so All Stars? All Stars. What's her name? She
Oh.
quit. She was so upset because apparently she's on a very strict diet. She can't eat very she can only eat certain things. And
Alyssa? What was her name? Arissa.
Yeah. She could only eat certain things, and everybody in the house was eating all of that stuff, so she couldn't eat.
I think there was a culmination of things with her.
It was a culmination of things, but that's like a really big thing. If you are on a strict, specific diet and other people are eating your food who are not on that strict, specific diet, I get to the point where I'm going to burn the house down.
But here's the other thing: is Amber's also got to realize that everyone is drunk. And has been out partying all night. And
when you're inebriated, you don't
they
think
never
very clearly.
told who ate the pizza. Like that, they never showed that. Tori
lied.
Yeah, just went around and was like, hey, Fessy ate it to rile everyone up. Which, by the way, if we really want to get into it now, looking back on it,
it worked.
This is, okay, hold on. This is what started the whole thing, is Tori completely just lying about this, because Amber's like, who ate my pizza? And Tori makes it to with Fessy, and then that blows up, and then everyone runs off and goes and grabs Josh because he's the fire to...
Why would you not bring Josh into this?
Yeah,
why would you not?
He's the gasoline.
Exactly, because that's the thing. Like, Tori said, she's like, I just think Fessy did not eat her pizza, but I would just think it would be really funny if Amber thinks that he did. And then it cuts to Corey, and Corey's like, this house has been so boring.
One thing which I accidentally skipped over is, not Amber, but Esther's talking about Amber. This was right before the pizza thing happened, and her whole thing is I'm sick of Amber telling everyone how nice of a person she is.
Have we heard her say that? Like,
well, we haven't, but that doesn't mean it hasn't happened.
Like it could have been cut out, but that was the gripe.
Well, so here's my thing. That is. I am 100% on board with that because, one, for a couple reasons. One, there's a subreddit just called r/nice guys, and it's always just guys that are like, hey, like, show me your boobs, and they're like, oh, you stupid, and then they cuss them out, and they're like, I'm a real nice guy though, and it's always that type of stuff.
Nice guys never win. Nice guys always finish last. Why won't you go out with me?
If you call yourself a nice guy,
if
you call yourself a nice guy, you're not one.
Yeah,
but it is also like with like couples, usually the couples that are like overly affectionate and whatever on social media
post
go out of their way to talk about how great
24/7,
how great their relationships are, and how I just love blah blah. That's usually the people who you look down the road and like 3 months later, like, he cheated on me, I can't believe it. And I do agree, if you are a nice person, you shouldn't have to keep telling everyone how nice of a person you are. You should just do things, and
you should just live your life, and people will know that you're a nice person.
That seems to be where Esther's frustrated with all the stuff with Amber, which, again, Jake's point, we haven't seen Amber do that, but it seems that that's happening. But anyway, after all that blows up, Esther has a come apart where she just yells like a little kid.
She screams.
She sounds like a tea kettle.
She screams in the middle of the room.
It's like started low and high pitched, and then it just gets louder, 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 louder until it just like breaks.
Yeah, I've been riding with Esther up to this point when she did that.
I was regardless of however she feels about Amber B, whatever. I'm pretty indifferent to that. I've been an Esther fan until that moment. That exact moment, I was like, ugh. Because I've been around a lot of
screaming
3 to 5-year-olds who do that when they're having a tantrum.
Yeah, it's a toddler.
Yeah.
And it is one of my biggest pet peeves.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
Don't be screaming like that.
It's childish.
Yeah. Cut it out.
I didn't like that at all. And then they start getting into it, and everyone's whatever. She throws a drink on Amber.
Well, Esther's screaming at Amber while Amber's trying to talk to Josh.
Yeah.
And because it was like Amber's not even looking at Esther, and Esther just dumps her drink in Amber's face.
Josh is, man, he's in his worst nightmare right now because he's already so loyal to Amber, but then they've set up that he's, been having a love connection with Esther. And
that's the word, love connection.
He turns away from Esther, and he's just so sad. And, like... Then Jake caught something which didn't I didn't register it at first, is they let Josh get an uncensored F word through there.
He sure did.
Yeah,
because they're beeping out so many other things happening.
They missed it,
and they caught Josh's first one, and then he says another one, and they're beeping stuff around him, but his audio is as as pure as the day is long.
Yeah.
And you can just hear it right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's that Aquafina word. They didn't bleep it. It's pure Aquafina.
Okay, sure.
No,
Are you an Aquafina fan?
no, but they
You talking about the water or the rapper?
it's Dasani.
The water.
He's talking about the water. Okay. I was asking if you were an Aquafina the rapper fan.
I'm not.
And
Watch it. She's an Asian American.
I don't have to like all Asian Americans. She just like I actually don't mind her as much. She was in that Oceans movie. I didn't mind, but like from the music that I've heard, I didn't like her music. You know, I'm an equal opportunity. Just
Lender. You're
yeah,
an equal opportunity lender.
yeah. So
Josh and Fessy get into it.
I did great, cool. I did like that Josh just starts yelling at Fessy, "What have you won?" over and over again. Because Josh did win his season of Big Brother. Fessy's not won
did.
anything at this point, and we talked about that was the motivation behind the Amber thing. Was he
He's
was
mad that he's not a winner.
yeah, he was upset that she won over him, and then Fessy pushes Josh's face, and it's the typical like NBA move.
He shoved him pretty hard, like in the chin,
And you know that's where it's left off, right?
between security guards.
Other than Nelson just hanging in the back just eating pizza.
Yeah.
You know, the track record here is when you put your hands on somebody,
That's the end.
that's it.
And we had already, just for reference, I just kind of thought of this after the Huey and Corey elimination. Like TJ
yeah.
was like, "You don't ever put your hands on anybody in this house."
So he's already given a warning.
Exactly.
And you know, I think back to was it Final Reckoning?
With Kayla and Melissa, where they pushed each other.
Yeah.
They put it wasn't a punch, nobody punched,
No,
but
it was a push.
they put hands on each other and they went home.
Yeah,
yeah.
So
It was not a hit.
I think Fessy's going.
I think
home.
Fessy's going
Yeah.
home too. I think Esther's on the fence about it
She might.
because I mean that was pretty
Didn't-
unprovoked. Although we did have a couple seasons ago, Josh threw a drink on I think
It was last season.
Chris.
He
Oh,
threw-
we
Kyle.
completely forgot about Chris and Bailey from Big Brother.
Oh,
We
man.
did. Yeah, because
We
I
just don't watch
was
Big
I was
Brother.
the one that brought up. I was like, somebody threw a drink on somebody last season,
Yeah.
and you said it was Josh, and I said Josh threw a drink on somebody, but I could not for the life of me remember who it was.
He accidentally threw it at Kyle.
Yes.
that was just water.
I don't think that's enough to send Esther home. I think it is enough to send Fessy home, especially given the fact that
TJ gave the warning.
yeah, he'd already kind of laid it out there, like you don't
He was
do this.
stern about it too.
He's their handler.
I know. One last thing.
He was literally about to
Go
say
ahead.
I'm always in a thought, and y'all just go.
This was my thought was mostly for you. Casey, before Fessy shoved Josh, Casey was saying in a confessional, she's like, "Did you guys forget that you're in alliance together?
Again.
Did you forget that you're like brothers?" To which I was like, "Well, you're saying this more along to Josh, but I think Fessy was the one that forgot that he and Josh were in an alliance."
They've completely
he
turned
fired
on
the
their
first shot.
alliance. Yeah, that's stupid. But going back to an NBA analogy, if you did that, what Fessy did, you would have been ejected.
Yes, I would have.
Yeah, you would have
Flagrant 2?
I don't know if it'd be that, but they would just you're not allowed to do that. And so it wouldn't surprise me if that's the reason why they cut these episodes like this, and they're gonna send Fessy home. We don't know. We're spoiler free, but just the way that it's cut, and then on the next week, like TJ comes in the house and he's like, "When I come in the house, it's never good news," or something like that.
It never is. When does he ever come into the house and someone not go home?
Never.
Yeah, either that or someone's already been sent
home.
Yeah.
Because he did it one time when DM got sick. He came to the house to tell everybody that she had packed up and left, and that was when CT ran
Typically,
and
you
packed up
only
and
see
left.
TJ during the dailies and the final. You don't see him in the rest of the stuff. If he shows up unannounced, he's not even doing the deliberation stuff. And, in the older seasons, he'd come in and be like, "All right, guys, now it's all on video." And so I have a strong feeling here's what I'd say. I put 75% chance Fessy goes home, maybe 25% chance Josh goes home too. and then it,
Did
but
Josh
it
put
depends
hands
on
on
if they
Fessy?
cut and there's more that we didn't see yet.
But if that's the end of the fight right
If
there,
that's the end of the fight, I agree.
Josh ain't going home.
I
I
touch
didn't
him.
see Josh didn't touch anybody.
he probably like
Maybe
pushed his hand
the
off of him,
security
but
guard,
it's
but I don't think that counts.
the thing I would be worried about is to just be like, you know, in the NBA, it's not always the first person who gets in trouble. It can be both of you that get double technicals or whatever.
Yeah, but that's in heat of the moment. They go back and like, you know, review these things, right?
Well, they could
Like,
review
on the show,
but they could review, or would they do that in the NBA too? They review all that.
yeah, I guess I'm thinking more like football, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can, you know, they don't always catch the guy that initiates it.
Yeah, that's
they call
true.
the penalty on the guy
Who
responded.
retaliates.
Yeah,
I don't know. And then Esther's up in there. I don't think anyone else should, from what we saw, should have any.
I think Esther could go home. I think she could. I don't think it's anywhere near as. I think Fessy's 100%. I think he's
Really?
going home. Yeah,
I don't want to say 100%. Yeah, but
I do.
I wouldn't give him
close.
75%. I give him probably 85% chance going home.
I'm at 100.
Esther, I don't know.
I think
'cause
she's 50-50.
I was going to say it could go either way, 50-50, that she goes home because of how serious TJ was about Corey and Huey. Because one, Corey and Huey put their hands on each other, but also TJ made a big deal about like their attitude and the way they were talking to each other. He's like, this is not how winners behave or respond or speak. Like, he was just so dead serious about that I don't think he's going to let much of anything slide for the rest of the season.
Also, shout out to Amber. Like, she
didn't even phase her.
didn't even acknowledge it hardly.
Yeah.
It was kind of wild.
Like a drink thrown all over you that you weren't
don't
even
even-
talking to the person,
yeah.
and then she just kind of like turned away. And
It's like Esther was mad that Amber was not giving her the attention that she wanted.
well, she'd
while
already
she was
screamed like a
screaming at
little
her.
kid.
She was screaming at her, and Amber was not looking at her and giving her that attention. So she threw a drink. And so I think if that were the whole situation, Amber not giving her that attention is just how you're supposed to respond to that.
yeah, I'm out on Esther this rest of the season.
This is
don't you
it's
scream like that and think I'm gonna root for you anymore.
Don't scream like that, and don't throw a drink on somebody's
that's
face.
incredibly annoying.
Those are two very annoying, very childish things to do.
We've seen drinks being thrown before. I don't know if we've ever seen that type of like temper flare up like that.
like a actual like tantrum type.
Like what?
response.
Like literally what a
When-
toddler would have done.
when it
It
wasn't
was just very
directed at
immature.
her.
Very immature to me, and it just rubbed me so the wrong way.
I wasn't offended by it like you are. I just thought it was.
I'm
annoying.
I'm not offended. It's so
It caught me by surprise.
immature. I just didn't like it.
So who smashed some heads this week?
MTV by cutting us 30 minutes short.
I don't know. You know what? Let me give it to Casey. It's a top-notch first date.
Okay.
It was a pretty good first date. It was a good showing.
She put that thing on it.
Gotta quit with that.
I'll give it to Amy. She wrote a song and sang it to everybody.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And wore Ashley's
yeah.
dress and showed her boobies.
Hey, you only live once.
Yeah, that's right.
Yellow.
Who did you say yellow? Yeah.
It sounded like yellow.
Who got their head smashed?
I went with Amber because apparently to Berna and Esther, everybody hates Amber, maybe except Josh. And then she got a drink thrown in her face. So just double whammy there, Jake.
Huey, because I think he was expecting a decent response out of Emmy when he asked how they performed his teammates.
It's like what?
She was so
to
mad
which-
about that.
Yeah. So my boy Huey.
I'm gonna go with Josh because Fessy like slapped at his face.
That's too easy. Zach.
Yeah, no, because his love connection threw a drink on Amber, and he had to pick a side right then, and he picked Amber.
He picked Amber's side.
Whatever way you're facing with your torso, that's the direction you pick, and he didn't face towards Esther.
He didn't even turn towards her.
Yeah, he was so sad. He's so sad that he begged MTV to let him get one uncensored F word through, and they
And they
granted
let
that
it
wish.
slide. They
Yeah.
let it
They
slide.
gave it to him.
They,
You know what? Maybe
they threw him a bone.
maybe maybe the censor got their head smashed and they just forgot. They're like, man, I've beeped so many things. I think I got them all, and it's one or the other.
It's probably because they heard the F word so many times that when they beeped them all out, they didn't even hear it when Josh said it.
Oh, shout out to Streetlight in our Slack group that he's in the UK, so they show all these uncensored, and he showed the Huey and Corey elimination uncensored.
Oh, yeah, man.
And it is wild to listen to it.
Buddy, he is, man.
He's just jealous that I've got a few friends.
How do you think we perform as partners?
Oh.
I still do like Huey a
It's
lot.
not even like it's a weird question, right? But it's the fact that he's like way up here. He's like,
Yeah.
how do you think we
Yeah.
performed as partners?
And it's like in the context of everything. It's like it's the kitchen situation again.
Oh,
It's
Exactly.
He's great.
yeah.
God bless Huey.
So
Fantasy. Oh, we're doing pop culture.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look. So I'll go
look.
with mine first.
Okay.
So I'm one of these when it comes to music, really anything. I'm one of these. If I know people are heavy on said artist or said product, I have a tendency to go in the opposite direction.
Can I give you some breaking news?
Sure.
Confirmed next week is also only 60 minutes.
I bet you it's going to be.
From
You
Greg.
called it.
From Greg, and Greg knows.
I bet you who's going home, deliberation, and elimination.
Call it right now.
agree.
Call it right now. We haven't seen the episode. We're spoiler free. What's the outcome?
Fessy's going home.
And
Well, we don't even know who's going into eliminations.
yeah, but we're talking about Fessy, Josh, and Esther.
Didn't we
I-
just
what
talk about
happens?
this?
I think just Fessy.
Okay,
I
so
would
you're
put money
calling
on just Fessy if you had to pick one.
just Fessy goes home. Okay,
Yeah.
I say Fessy goes home. Esther gets a warning from TJ.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you asked who goes home, not who gets warnings. So, to which I'd have said yes.
I said that-
Esther's something's gonna be said to Esther.
I said outcome. What's the
Well-
outcome of this that we get tomorrow?
yeah. Well,
I just want to say, that way next week we can say, hey, we called it. We predicted.
I
the
didn't mean
future.
to interrupt you, but it was breaking news.
oh, okay, yeah. Well, I figured.
Yeah.
But thanks to Greg, who tore me apart earlier today. So, but anyway, like what I was saying is like, I'm also one of these people like the more you pester me about something, the less I want to do it. You ask me about Rocket League every night.
It's not every night, but
There was this instance years ago. We were teenagers, and
you've told this story before.
you wanted to go to Sonic to get a drink. I didn't want to drink. I don't even think it was. I think it was like 3 minutes down the road. From Sonic.
Yeah, probably like a mile and a half.
Yeah, if that.
Yeah.
And you want to go get a drink. You were going to get a drink and coming right back, which for me it was like, well, I'm just going to hang here. And I was probably playing Halo or something. I was like, I'm just going to hang here, wait for you to get back. And you just kept on like, nah, come with me. I'm like, no, man, I'm just going to hang here. Nah, come with me. And then my mom walks in and like really came down on me and was like, Jake, if you were a good friend, you'd go with him.
That's why it was
and
funny.
wasn't playing at
But
all.
That's why it was
She
funny.
wasn't playing at all. Like she really like couldn't believe.
She's like, I
that
can't believe you won't do this.
To which I was like, well, fine then. Like I'll go to Sonic with him. And we rode to Sonic, and 10 minutes later we're back at where we started. Like it's just so. Anyway, that being said, look, the new Band Camino album. I started to come off of them just because everybody's like the Band Camino, and it just makes me. And I'm not saying it's a right, reaction. That's just how I'm wired. I started to come off of them just like, all right, now let's cool out a little bit.
Yep.
And then this new album came out, and
Yep.
I'm like, okay, well I get it. They're just good, man.
They're
just,
from Memphis.
they are just so good. They just are.
You actually came to me a couple days ago and you're like, hey, you listen to the Band Camino album? And I said, no, for that very reason. I used to listen to them and love them. And then it was like suddenly everybody I knew was listening to them. And I was like, that makes me not want to listen to them
Yeah.
anymore.
You guys are sellouts.
I still haven't listened to that new album.
There's a couple of songs on there in particular, Just a Phase, and I forget what the other one's called. But my gosh, oh, it's
I'll
so
probably
good.
listen to it tomorrow.
So good.
You'll probably hear it through the wall.
Let's put it through the wall. Put that thing on.
You guys work next door.
We
in case
work
anybody
next door to
didn't know
each
that.
other, and the construction of the building was so cheap that there's no insulation in the wall between our two businesses. So I hear every word that's spoken inside the gym when there's not music played. When there's music played, it's just overwhelming.
Call it spoken word.
Yeah, that's poetic. My pop culture person of the week is...
That's not person of the week.
Pop culture is anything of popular culture.
But you literally said my pop culture person of the week. That's
yes.
not...
That would keep with her theme.
It would keep with my
not
theme.
Only for the last 2 weeks.
No, it's been like 3 or 4 weeks. Yes, the first 2 weeks. Hold on. Because the first 2 weeks I did not have people, but I've done people for the last several weeks.
Okay, just name who it is.
This week I'm going with Megan Fox for many reasons. One, she is apparently still dating Machine Gun Kelly, which is a very interesting pairing. I still can't really wrap my head around that. And also, she basically did like her version of Kim K's Met Gala look from like last year or year before last, but she wore it to the VMAs like 2 nights ago.
Conor McGregor threw his drink on him.
He did. It was while she was getting her picture with him. So it may have gotten on her too. But she had the wet hair effect look on her hair like Kim K did. And so it probably didn't even matter. But she looked really good. It's a good look for her.
She was at the Met Gala the next day.
That's great.
Yeah. I didn't want to bring up the Met Gala because I already have my person for next week, and I will be talking about the Met Gala.
Are you just strictly doing people the rest of the way?
Probably.
Okay.
Well. I'll recommend a podcast that I don't listen to a lot, but I've listened to it more recently.
Smashing Heads.
No, that's not a podcast. Also, no.
Because we suck.
Yeah, it's Ear Biscuits.
No, but this one it's called Taste Buds, and it's Sal Vulcano from Impractical Jokers and Joe DeRosa, which is one of his friends from New York, and they just each week pick a different side of an argument, and they like argue like viciously for like 45 minutes about, and they put a poll up on their Twitter.
It's all food related.
Yeah, and it's like they debated like Oreos versus Chips Ahoy, and they've done McDonald's versus Wendy's, and they've done like cookies versus ice cream, and ketchup versus mustard. Anyway, they pick one side and they just go at it, and then they do a poll at the end. I mean, on their Twitter, and by the end of the episode, they look at the votes on the poll, and then they declare who is the winner or not. It's pretty funny. It's really funny when Sal gets insanely like frustrated and just like over the top about how incensed he is.
They will start cussing each other out over this, and Sal will start calling
Joe
DeRosa awful names, and it's so funny.
It is really funny.
It is so funny.
But yeah, that's called Taste Buds because hey, they're buddies and they're like best friends, but they're eating foods.
Yeah, they like to taste.
Yeah.
If you've never listened to this podcast and you're interested in listening, please, for the love of all that is holy, listen to the one that is cookies versus ice cream. I'm not big on podcasts. I don't like to listen to podcasts very much, mostly because it's something I reserve for long road trips, and I don't do that a lot.
We called it.
I'm not talking about the episode. I'm talking about this specific thing. This argument is one of the funniest things I've heard in a very long time.
What Jake is referring to before we get into the fantasy stuff.
Talk about it.
Is when
we opened the pod with talking about how she was bullying us.
I was literally just about to say that.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the pod, Jake talked about how she was in like a bully mode. When we got done, she was like, "This recording better only be 20 minutes long." Like I don't have anything to talk about, and I was like, "It's going to be at least an hour."
To which I stopped her, but we were still downstairs, and I was like, "Now, Han, I call out Zach for his stuff too. But if anybody's prone to dragging things out, talking about stuff, it's you."
Do you have any idea how long we've been recording?
No, but I've yawned 87
we're over
times.
an hour.
We're at an hour and 15. Yeah.
I want to go to bed.
Well,
Han, what you just did is what I was talking about
which, by the way, we don't have a problem
Nobody's
with.
mad about it.
It's just she was bullying us about time before we started.
You can't kettle the pot black.
You can't kettle the pot black,
you can't,
Nelson.
You can't pot.
Yeah, you can't pot the kettle black.
You can't call the. You can't be the pot.
You
can't call the pot when you need the kettles.
You can't be the pot calling the kettle black. You can't do that.
You can't make pot in a kettle.
The truth of the matter is, Han, is you do. Zach here is never wrong. You drag stuff out. Fair?
And you should shut up, according to Greg.
Yes, I should.
No, my big argument was I didn't want to talk about tonight.
There we go.
I didn't, while you're getting the stuff ready, I didn't want to talk about tonight's episode because even our patrons, we had patrons reach out and tell us that it would be fine if we didn't even record an episode tonight.
But then we knew we would have double the amount of stuff we'd have to do next week.
Yes,
So.
and I agreed with that. I wanted to record, but I didn't have anything to talk about on tonight's episode. But I did want to talk about that
You did have stuff to talk about.
podcast that you brought up. I didn't know you were going to bring it up, but
Well, let me-
that was just...
Just for the sake of clarity.
We've listened to that episode twice now. That episode of what's it called? Taste Buds? The cookies versus ice cream. We've listened to it twice now.
No, we haven't. We have not. We listened to it once.
The specific clip.
We've watched a YouTube
We've watched the clip and we've listened to the full episode. And I think we listened to the clip again a few days later. But it is the funniest freaking thing I've heard in so long.
Listen, it's fine. Like that's not what Jake wasn't saying. Like you can't talk about things. We just knew that once we get in here and get talking, it's just gonna drag out because we all go off on tangent stuff. It just happens. But Hannah was so like, we will not do that. We have. This.
I really didn't want to. I want to go to bed. I want to be done with this.
Well, I hate to tell you that you also had things to say about the episode too.
I didn't want to.
I skipped over things, and then at one point you made us go back, and I was like, I didn't even have any notes about that.
I don't want anybody thinking that you guys don't let me talk.
Well, it's never been that. We just like it was just so funny that you were like, we have to be done in 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, and you were arguing with me saying it wouldn't happen, so I gave up on that dream.
Oh, Jake,
Y'all ready?
I've been ready. She might have some more YouTube she needs to talk about.
Han, do you remember what this segment is sponsored by?
Skechers. Go running.
Okay, well, we're going to jump right into this. Maybe this segment will only take 20 minutes for you, Han.
This podcast is going to be longer than the episode.
Hey, Ed is happy for Logan, so we're going to give 5 points to Logan, not Ed.
All right.
Ice. Let's see. We're going to give 10 points to Emmy because CT likes her. And that's,
all right.
You know, that's always worth 10 points. What is that? What is that word? It says Bob Cutie Emmy. Give her 5 points.
Bob Cutie Emmy.
Vibe Cutie
Vibe
Emmy.
Cutie Emmy. Okay.
I'll give her 5. It's just I misspelled something there.
Bob.
But sometimes Emmy goes too deep into her head. -5. Give 5 points to CT for being Emmy's uncle. We get yoga sessions with Ashley, 5 points. I didn't like that in one sentence Josh said energy and vibes, -5.
He did say that.
You know what? We're going to give 20 points to Amanda for telling Fessy that maybe he's the problem. We reward good logic around here.
Because it's hard to come by.
It is, especially in that house. You know what? 10 points to Casey for delivering flowers. I'm going to give 15 points to Nani and Casey for the date night.
Yeah, they're both on my team.
You got to respect the game. 15 points to Casey. But it makes Amanda sick, -5. Or was it Ashley? It was Ashley. It was Ashley, -5.
To Ashley?
To Ashley. But -10 to Casey because she still has bad logic for the Josh and Fessy situation. We get a Josh and Esther love connection, 10 points. But Esther doesn't know what she likes about Josh. -5 to both of them.
You gotta let me find Esther.
She's
They're
at the
both on my
bottom
team.
of Jake's.
Oh, there it is.
So 10 to each and -5 to each. Tori is ready to get sick, 5 points. We get Ed finger whirling.
There it is.
5 points.
That's what I was wondering about.
We're going to give 5 points to CT and Josh for doing the Superman on the hood of their car. But CT gets -15 for recapping the daily.
Yeah, he did do that.
Is that what it's always been?
Nah, but I'm bumping it up.
Okay.
It may have been -10, but I'm sick of it.
All right.
This is the best experience of Berna's life. 10 points.
And she went to circus school.
She also called herself a rock star. 5 points. But her and CT are on two ends of the spectrum. -5.
To both?
Yeah. Josh and Ashley are peanut butter and jelly. 5 points. -5 to Ham because that'll kill her. 10 points to Josh and Ashley for winning their heat.
Oh, we're doing it like that?
That would change it up.
There's a lot of people that are going to get 10 points.
Yeah, we're handing out points.
All right,
tonight.
I got you.
-10 to Bettina for laughing.
I thought she was grunting in the clip. Yeah.
She also laughed again, so another -10.
Jeez, you get her a -20 for that?
That's right. Zach thinks, is it Emmanuel? That's how TJ was pronouncing it.
But Corey
Why'd you
said
say Zach
Emmanuel.
Zach?
Oh, there's fancy points. You think that he's dressed like a supervillain.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So 5 points to Emmanuel.
He had that big like medallion necklace.
Yeah. 10 points to him and Casey for winning their heat. Also 10 points to Emmanuel because he's Emmy's heart and soul. He's also supposedly going to make Emmy a music video if he wins, so 10 points to Emmy.
Forgot about that. He's a dancer.
Huey feels like Batman, 5 points. And he's also Rose from Titanic, 5 points.
I missed the Batman reference. I remember the Rose one.
He's also deaf on top of the car, -5. Devin and Amber win their heat, 10 points. Logan and Nani win their heat, 10 points.
Hold on.
Yeah, you're good. Take your time, bub. We've already
Logan.
surpassed 20 minutes.
All right, go.
Tori at one point did the rock on stance and she stuck her tongue out, 10 points.
Oh, Emmy earlier on, she did hang 10 with both hands and like waved it around.
Hey, give her 10 for that because I missed it. I can't catch everything, guys. I only got 2 eyes.
Yeah.
Fessy and Esther win their heat, 10 points. Ed gets dizzy for fun, 5 points. Kyle and Amanda win their heat, 10 points. 25 to Casey and Emmanuel. Yeah, they get 25 for winning.
I gotta find Amanda. She was way up top. So 25 to who now?
Casey and Emmanuel. And then you're going to do 15 points each for being safe, and then 15 points each for being the agency.
Okay.
Got it all?
Yep.
Nani is proud, 5 points.
Jeez.
Oh, easy there, Captain. I'm gonna give 15 to Huey for his. How do you think we did his partners running? So, let's see. I gotta give -20 to Casey for making the argument about not rocking the boat and then wondering who was going to take the first shot.
Okay.
It's just.
It was just the dumbest thing.
Jeremiah ain't tripping. 5 points. Let's see. Amy said that dress is like a t-shirt. We'll give her 5 points for it. We give her 10 points for the makeover.
All right.
We get Nelson and Berna kissing. 10 points.
Forgot about that.
15 points to Emmy for the concert. 5 points because she feels like an alien. 10 points because the girl can sing.
She got 5 for feeling like alien?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if you meant -5.
Fessy can't sing. -5. Yeah, and you know what? Just overall, Emmy got a big love fest. 20 points to Emmy. We got multiple people talking about how much they loved her, and then we got a big chant. You know, the whole
They
shebang.
crowd surfed her
They crowd surfed her.
after an acoustic performance.
Yeah.
An unplugged.
When do you ever see that?
Never.
Josh likes the Esther cracks jokes. 5 points to Esther. Esther and Josh kissing. 10 points. CT can't believe it. 5 points to CT. Amber doesn't like surprises. -5. I'm gonna give. Nah, we won't worry about those.
Okay.
It's
It's,
Jeremiah and Amber started giving stank faces to the camera. I'll give him 5 points for that. Jeremiah.
yeah, where's...
He on my team.
These people that don't ever get any points, it's hard to find.
Tori starts lying. But she's trying to be... -5, but she's trying to be funny. 5 points. Corey said it's boring in this house. -5. There's Amber with them bug eyes. -5.
That's rude.
Let's see. Devin wants to lock Josh in the house. 10 points. Big T fell asleep. 5 points. I'm going to give -15 to Esther for that screaming like a kid thing.
I agree.
But 10 points to her and Amber for the fight. I'm going to give 10 points to Esther for throwing the drink because to this point,
It's dramatic.
you don't go home for throwing drinks. You go home for putting your hands on people.
I bet to say Amber better get points for not reacting.
Yeah, give her 5 points for keeping her cool.
Yeah.
10 points to Corey for being just a flat-out instigator.
Yeah. How many?
10.
10. Casey said, Alliance members don't do this to each other, but he already did. -10 for her continued bad logic. Nelson's just chilling eating pizza. 15 points.
Yeah, they did like a digital,
In the middle of it.
a digital zoom
Just-
on him just hanging out.
Just in the direct middle of everything, just eating pizza. 10 points to Fessy and Josh for the fight, but -15 to Fessy because he put his hands on him. And that is typically not a good thing. And that, ladies and gentlemen, are your fantasy points for the week. We're going to take a quick break here, quick little pause. Zach's going to do some more math for you, and we will be right back. All right, everybody, he did it. He's done with the math. He did real good work over here. But with before anybody cuts me off, once again, segment's brought to you by Skechers.
Go running.
Weird week, right?
Well, no, kind of staying on trend, honestly.
Wow.
I mean, you have the most people, so like by this point, like with how heavy you've weighted like the dailies and stuff, like you just have the highest probability to just keep getting a lot of points because it double. And not only are dailies worth more, they're paired, and so if you happen to have both people, especially which you didn't this week, but if you have both, you're just gonna run away with it. And so, because I mean, you give them 25 for the daily win, and then another 30 for being safe and being part of the agency or whatever. So, CT ended up with -5 for the week.
Oh.
Wow.
Amanda had 30, Ed had 10, Berna had 20, Jeremiah had 10, Josh had 40, Emmanuel had 80, Emmy had 95, Huey had 20, Big T had 5, and Esther had 35. Fessy had 0 overall. Nelson 20, Ashley 5, Kel's eliminated, Tommy's gone. Nani ended up with 30, Gabo's gone, Michaela's gone, Michelle's gone. Casey ended up with 65. Bettina ended up with -20 for existing. And Amber B ended up with 20. Kyle had 10. Devin had 20. Corey for the kids, not Corey 12, had 5. Anissa's gone. Logan had 15. Tori ended up with 15. Rennan's gone. Tasha's gone. Tracy's gone. Priscilla just nothing. Just 0. No scoring at all. And then Corey 12 is eliminated. So Hannah for the week ended up with 65 points. I ended up with 120, and Jake ended up with 340.
God dang.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, that's your scoring system.
yeah. It's,
Well, I mean, it's like Zach said. I ain't got nobody going home.
yeah. I mean, Jake, you had 340. Hannah's only scored 350 coming into this week total.
Good not, Han.
So Hannah is now. I gotta copy and paste this.
You're catching up to Zach though, Han.
Well, no, I doubled her score this week.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Dang.
So Hannah is now at 415. I am at 680,
Oh,
and then Jake is at 1,505.
yeah.
So
You're 1,100 points ahead of me.
I mean, if there was money riding on this, you'd be investigated.
Yeah, but y'all know.
I do know.
Like, have I done anything to make y'all think that I'm, like,
You
giving myself points?
He gave Bettina -20 for laughing twice. That's
But
the
that's
only
been
thing she did in the
consistent.
episode.
That's been
Yeah.
consistent the whole season. When she laughs, it's a -10.
Well, I hope they just cut her out of most of these episodes going forward.
I don't know that she's gotten a positive point, if I'm being honest.
You know what? I can tell you. Let's look through here. Bettina -10, -10. That's week 1.
All right.
Week 2, -10, -10. Week 3.
She laughing.
Week 3, she got 10.
Oh!
She got 10 week 3. Week 4, -5. Week 5, 5. So she's only scored 15 positive points, but she's probably 60 or 70 in the hole at this point. So
That may be
she's
the
been a
worst pick.
detriment to my team. And over the racist girl, Bettina's been worse for my team than someone who got sent home for being a racist. And it's all thanks to Jake's
Wow.
scoring system.
Wow.
Well,
So
what, would you give her points for that laugh?
I didn't say that, but I wouldn't penalize her every week for the same thing.
Consistency. It's across. If she was on my team, it'd be -10 every time. -10.
You wanna trade?
-10. No.
Why not?
No. I like my team. My team.
That's because you haven't
Yeah.
even go home yet.
My team's solid. Even the people who you know ain't gonna win, like they're giving me points.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, we had a lot of wild cards because, again, half of them were rookies. And you got, Emmy and Emmanuel and
Esther.
Huey,
Huey. I picked
yeah.
some good rookies.
Huey.
Like, be real, y'all.
Don't tell me what to do. Well, we'll be back with you next week for another
Yeah, drink
recap
your
of
little canteen there.
an hour-long episode. And
I want to take it back in his lunchbox for school. That canteen.
I'm not drinking out of a canteen.
Oh, God.
we bought the special Parks Edition Hydro Flask.
That's because they're half price.
Yeah.
These things are normally like $50.
But also they're
Yeah.
really super cool.
So anyway, we'll be back with you next week. We'll be doing some more Patreon stuff soon. So patreon.com/SmashNez podcast. I'm assuming we'll record some, probably more Survivor next. And then a Redemption House once we all watch the Rivals 2 reunion. Because apparently they also go into more of, like, essentially Diem was going through menopause while on this with all the hormone treatment she was going through. And so that's kind of why she was all over. Which makes sense, but if we did, they said they cut all of it out of the show, so we can't.
Nobody would know.
Yeah, we can't comment on that otherwise. So anyway, we'll probably watch that, talk about it on a Patreon exclusive podcast, and we'll be back with you next week to probably watch Fessy be sent home. So I don't have anything else to say. Hannah might.
No, it's been too long for her. So have a good night, everyone.